Hey guys, how's it going? So I am here today to do some sewing. And also, this is my second week of doing the use up your supplies that you've been hoarding. So I am going to use some of my Tim Holtz fabric that I've been hoarding. This fabric, which is from, I think it's Eclectic Elements. Yeah, Eclectic Elements, Tim Holtz, Memoranda, and this one is Spelling Book. So I've got some strips of that, and then some strips of this one, which is another Eclectic Elements, Memoranda, and this one is Cabinet something. Cabinet M. Yeah, that got cut off, so I don't know. Cabinet something. But it looks like a ledger. Looks like ledger paper. It actually looks kind of collage-y. So, yeah, first I wanted to show you, these are some of the kind of things I've been sewing lately. Just little snippets to use in my junk journals. This is really cute. It's a little bunny stamp. So I just stamped it on this kind of coffee colored fabric and then layered it onto some green because I love green. I think I've mentioned that. So I've been doing some of those, just little stamps. And then like that, where I sew kind of around the edge and then do little cross stitches on the layers to hold one layer to another, and then put some buttons in the middle. And these I tied in a knot and then put a little dab of glue so the knot wouldn't come undone. But I kind of like that, you know, having the knot on the front as opposed to the back of the button. Just gives it another little element of decoration. Here's another one where I used a stamp on this fabric. It says "Fortune favors the bold." I think I got that from AliExpress. And then I've got some vintage buttons, some old buttons, and just some cross stitches, and then some little tiny running stitch on the layers. And this one is another one where I'll probably, this could be used as a belly band. That's what I was thinking. Especially because the fabric, it's, if you can see it, it's got little farmhouses and barns and stuff, and there's a horse, somebody on a horse. So yeah, that'll go in my Etsy store soon. And here's another one that I'm putting in my Etsy store where I've layered some floral fabric. It's like yellow and green and brown, and layered that onto some plain muslin with a couple layers of different lace and then some buttons. And this one you can actually cut into smaller pieces, because the only thing, no, I don't know how I got that big loop. The only thing that's sewed is through all the layers and through the button, and they're each sewed individually. So you could cut these, you know, to make little snippets, or you could cut it to the length you want, or you could use it as a belly band. There's lots of ways you could use it. I just love sewing buttons on, so I kind of find excuses to do that and then figure out ways to use them. So, and these buttons, let me just show you. This is what I got from a quilting store. It's Grandma's Buttons. somebody's grandma. So it was completely full. It was $9 and it will last me a while. I just love digging through it. And then I've got another store. This one I keep in my Charlie Brown Christmas lunchbox because why not? This has got some rings in it too, but these are all white buttons. So if I just want white, I go looking in here. Okay, so I picked up the Tim Holtz fabrics, and then I got another fabric to sew these onto. It's this really pretty green. It almost looks like silk, but it's not. It's cotton. It's just really pretty. And then I thought I would attach this fun, what are these called? Flag yarn. It's just some novelty yarn. And some buttons. But first I want to sew up and down the sides with the cross stitches. And so this won't be one you can cut. This one is, I'm actually gonna keep and use. I'm making 3 because I'm gonna use them for my journals that I'm working on. And these will be belly bands. I might attach them onto some paper for another layer, but I'm not sure. We'll see. But yeah, I'll start with this. So these are cut to the length of the journal, the height, I should say, and then these are the width. So got a different fabric underneath here. It's kind of a minty green color, but I thought it went well with this. It almost looks like the ledger paper color green, that really subtle green. So, and then I've got just some different lace. And this one I thought looked good with some of this rickrack. So, yeah, let me get started sewing. Okay, so I pinned my layers, and you'll notice I've got a ripped edge on both layers here. I kind of lined up the edges that are ripped. I just have one edge ripped. And little tip, if you're gonna do this, this doesn't always, I don't know if it is true for all fabrics, but at least for these fabrics, when I was ripping them, I found that it was easier to rip parallel to the selvage, which means like this piece. Here's the selvage, this sort of label on the edge that tells you who the designer is. And so I ripped along this other edge, but it's parallel to the selvage. So you like cut a little notch, you know, about an inch or less, and then pull down, and it should rip the fabric pretty nicely. And then I just ironed the pieces to make them a little flatter, and for it to be easier for me to line them up with the other fabric. And so I've threaded my needle here. I've just got this little 30 assorted needles came with the little kit. I've got tons of needles, and I got out some different threads and decided on this one. I might pull it out if I don't like it. I've been known to do that. But this is by Sulky. It's called a blendable, and it is cotton. It's, let's see, does it say what weight it is? 12 weight. So it's really easy to work with, and I really like these blendables because they're variegated, you know, different colors, but they don't repeat exactly. You know, they change colors every so many inches, but they don't do it in the same order every time. So yeah, it makes it look really cool, really interesting. So yep. So I'm not going to make teeny stitches on this like I have on some, because I want to be able to see the stitches and the cross stitches. I am not a fast sewer like Rachel, you know, at Roxy Creations. I just love to watch her sew. She's so smooth. And she just goes so fast and makes beautiful stuff. I really have fun watching what she does for Ann Brooks' 52 tag challenge each week. I've been doing that as well. Haven't done any videos on it yet. I kind of fell behind a few weeks, and I have skipped a few weeks just because I was busy with whatever that week, or I wasn't inspired. But I do really enjoy that project. I think it's so fun. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a textile artist named Ann Brooke who is doing this challenge, and thousands of people have joined it around the world, where you decorate a tag each week with hand sewing, and she will give you a prompt, like she might teach you a new stitch. Like I think last week was spider wheel, which I have not done that one yet, but I want to do it. And sometimes we get easy weeks, like there was a week, I think that was last week, so maybe the spider wheel was 2 weeks ago, but last week was the Ort tag, which is just your little pieces of thread that you cut off from stuff that, you know, you're not going to use, or it's too short to use for anything, and so you just put it in a little jar or baggie. And I don't know why we collect those, but it seems like a lot of people do. So you were just supposed to sew a gob of those little threads onto your tag, and I did do that one. That was fun. But I really like learning the new stitches, and she's a very good teacher. Of course, it's just so much easier to learn some of this stuff on YouTube now, with people actually, you know, showing you the stitch. A lot of times I knit, and I don't do it all the time, so a lot of times I'll forget a stitch, and I just go on YouTube and look it up, and sure enough, there's somebody who's done a video doing that stitch. And it's just so much easier than to look at, you know, sequential pictures in a book. It just isn't the same. So I don't need a lot of pins to hold this on. I've just got 3 pins on here. And this is about 7 inches long. But there's just something really satisfying about this. It's so relaxing. A lot of times I'll sit in front of the TV or even sit in my recliner and watch YouTube videos on my laptop while I'm sewing like this. I know Anne just did a quick video yesterday where she was in her car waiting for one of her kids, I think, at some event or activity. So she was sitting in her car sewing. It's very portable, these little projects. So I have all these little bags everywhere like this. I got this at a quilting shop. And it's pretty good for just holding little projects and a few balls of thread. And I have a little needle book. Well, this is a pretty big one actually. I've got a smaller one. So I just got some pins and some needles and buttons and even a little tiny ruler in here and $1. I don't know what I'm gonna do with $1, but you never know. So how's everybody doing? It's cooling off here in Minnesota today. Today is Saturday as I'm recording this. And I think it's under 90, so that is good. Unfortunately, the fire hazard is high right now because it's very dry, but oh, I love it when it's dry. I just do not like humidity. It's the only bad thing about Hawaii. We went on our honeymoon to Hawaii when we first got married, and it was beautiful and it was fun to go snorkeling and hiking and all that good stuff, but I was constantly sweating because it's so humid there. I would not want to live in a place that was that humid all the time. Okay, so I've got about halfway up one side there, and I think I'll pause the video and then come back when I'm done with this one. At least done with the cross stitch. Hey guys, I'm back for a minute. I had to change my thread, used up my thread, because I don't use a super long piece. This is like 2 feet max, 24 inches. Because if you get it too long, it's just tangled. It just gets tangled really easily. So 24 inches was enough to get me up one side. But anyway, I got up and grabbed my tags that I was telling you about. So this is my Ort tag with all the loose threads. It's not too thick. So I like it. It's very messy, but it's very colorful. Oh, and I use that same green fabric. That's been my favorite for the past couple of days, I guess. And then here is my ring of other tags. I think we're up to like week 29 now, but I mean, these are so fun. I just love them. You can tell I like green, right? Although I did go for blue there on the button tag. This one was really fun. This one was using the bullion stitch, which I totally didn't know and learned from Anne and had a lot of fun with. I like that stitch. This was one of the kind of crazy ones. It's not a specific stitch. It was just like make a thing with dangly bits off of it. What did you call it? Scraps and a gift. Oh, okay. Yeah, what was the gift? Oh, this brown piece was a gift from somebody. Someone in my sewing guild. I like that one because I did these little stitches kind of filled in the flowers that were already on the fabric. Kind of like how Rachel does, except not nearly as fancy, but I really like how that looks. And this is some dyed fabric that I got from Secret Lentil, who is on Instagram. You can find them there, and they have a website. I'll link to it down below. But she makes garments, and she also does these little batches of dyed fabric, and I really liked the colors that she was doing, so I just bought a few batches of it. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, I think so. Those little shapes are stars, and I just did seed stitch around them. And this was couching. That was super fun. And that has some of the Tim Holtz fabrics in there too. This one, that one, and that one. And so does this one. This is little hexies. Oh, and here's more of that stitching like Rachel. I don't know what it's called, if there's a name for it, just embroidering. This was really fun. Just a bunch of different lace layers. That's my little vase of flowers. And that was 23, and I think this was 28, something like that. I gotta look it up. Anyway, so those are my tags. And now I'm gonna speed up and finish this strip. I think that looks really good. I love the way the variegated thread looks. So next it's on to pick some buttons. Okay, so I am looking at buttons and I decided I'm going to go with white, or clear more like, because I want as much of the pattern to show as possible. So I'm just looking for a variety of white buttons. And I'm gonna see if I can get this flag yarn secured by sewing on the buttons. Just kind of sewing over the yarn with the button thread. So I think that looks good. Alright. Now I need a needle. That away. I'm going to use the same thread to sew on the buttons. Oh, and if you're curious, I am using, this fabric is 1 inch wide, and then the bottom fabric is 1.5 inches wide. Okay. Now I gotta remember to start from the top, because I'm gonna sew these buttons on and knot them on top like I did the ones I showed you before. Right. Which means I don't have to knot this on the end. Start from the top. I'll leave a little bit on the end, enough for me to be able to tie a knot. And then I'll go around twice. Okay. And I think I'm catching that yarn. Okay, so then I just leave this long while I'm tying it, and leave the needle on the thread. So left over right, right over left. There. And then I'll just trim it to leave some little tails. And that goes in the work jar. Okay, next button. I don't know if that's going to be secure enough. I'm not sure. I'm just talking about the yarn, this flag yarn. Okay. So this one has 4 holes. Trying to remember how I did this before. I think I will cross instead of doing 2 side by side stitches, if that makes sense. Okay. I think I'll do 2 on each one of these, actually, just like I did 2 on the 2-hole button. Okay. So then this one. So I'm making an X on this button. If I can find the hole. There. One more. So is anybody watching the Olympics? We were just watching some earlier. I always like hearing the stories. Okay, so that one is done. Tie a knot, right or left. I start with left over right. And then right over left. Okay. And trim it. Alright. Next button. This is another 4-hole. Okay. I think I'm gonna have to get more thread for the next button. This does use thread up faster. Yeah, so we were watching the 400 meter men's swimming race with Michael Phelps commentating for the first time instead of winning medals. And I love the story about the guy who actually won gold, Chase, because he was a fan of Michael Phelps. When he was like 6 years old, he met him, I guess found him at a meet in a parking lot and talked to him, and they've been good friends since then. So it's kind of like he got to meet his idol, and then he grew up to win a gold medal in the same event. It's pretty cool. And I always like watching the opening ceremonies. We watched part of that. It's so long, it's like 4 hours. I don't know if I'm gonna watch the rest of it, but it was really beautiful. It was interesting, some of the dancing, like tap dancing. I didn't know that was so popular in Japan. Okay. Let's see. That's probably enough for one more button. This one, we'll go with this one. So even though these are all white, they are a little bit different from each other. I like to have a little variety. Trying to remember something I was gonna tell you guys about this. It's like a little tip, but I can't remember what it was. I don't know. Oops. Okay, so both of those have 2 stitches. 2 stitches both directions, and then I come back up across from the original stitch. And I know that's not going to be enough for another button, so I just took it off the needle. Okay. All right. This one. So this one's just 2 holes. And I will show you how I put these into the journals. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do it yet, but I'll definitely show you guys when I decide. Oh, we also watched beach volleyball. That was really cool. It just seems like such a mind game. Like they trick each other, you know, with only 2 people on that whole court. I mean, on each side. It's just amazing what they can get to. So we watched the U.S. playing China and the women, and that was pretty exciting. There were some really good volleys. But I tell you, sometimes the commentators are just really out there. I don't know what they're talking about. I guess they're experts in the sport, but you know, they start using lingo from that sport that nobody else knows, and I just get totally lost. It's like they're speaking a foreign language. Okay, that one is done. I like it. I think it looks really nice. I like the mix of different green colors. Cool. Okay, I think I will start on one of these, just so you can see, and then that'll be it for today. So that's gonna go like that, but first I need to do the cross stitch along the sides, and before I do that I need to pin it. Oh, and I had an idea. I sewed some more of these while we were eating dinner earlier, little bunnies. And I think what I'll do is the first person who leaves me a comment on this video, if you've watched this far, I'll send you one of these little stitched bunnies just for fun. So just leave me a comment and I will get back to you and get your email and stuff, and I'll send you a bunny. So yeah, just my way of saying thanks for watching. Okay. Oh, and you can choose which bunny you want. So I haven't decided which thread to use yet on this one. I could just use white, which is a little boring. I was thinking I might use this. It's another sulky 12 weight thread and it's variegated. So I think it's, yeah, it doesn't have the name of the color, but I think it's like cotton candy, something like that. It's like really light pastel colors. But I thought that would be a fun one to stitch on there just for something different instead of the expected white. What do you guys think? Okay. So I learned that quilter's knot from Rachel. Took me a few tries to get it, but now I like doing that. So you get the end of your thread and then hold it against the needle with the other thumb. Wrap it around a couple of times. I usually do 3. And then I kind of drag it under my thumb and finger and then use those two to pull the thread all the way down to the bottom, and voila, you get a knot. So I haven't put any new pages in my journals in several days. I'm falling behind. I've been trying to do it every couple of days, but you know, you get busy. I've been trying to put out a video every day, so that's definitely keeping me busy, especially because I'm editing all of them. Okay, let's see how that looks. Yeah, I think I like it. It's very subtle. I don't really have a mint green thread like this to match this fabric. I might have some embroidery thread. I have a lot of embroidery thread. You know, the 6-strand DMC stuff. But I didn't really want to use that. kind of a pain to separate the threads, and I don't know, I just like this, it's rounder. The thread itself is round, whereas it feels like the 6-strand stuff is more flat. Every now and then I just let it sort of drop and unwind because it gets twisted. I don't know if that has anything to do with the way that I'm sewing, or because I'm left-handed, or I don't know. So I make a loop on the back and then go through it twice to tie a knot. Okay. How about that one? Oh. So now I need to get this and buttons. And I think I might try to find some non-white buttons in here. Like I've got some of those in there. Those look nice. Maybe a brown one. Not sure. I think those dark ones are clashing with the pastel thread. So maybe I will just go with white or off-white. Though I kind of like this grayish one. Maybe not exactly white. Dirty white. Oh wow, here's the tiny one. Super tiny. It's like only as wide as the rickrack. Oh, here's a nice light blue one. I think I'll save that for something else. No. Can you guys see that? Yeah. Okay. Good. I think that's a good set. Okay. Is that long enough for... That's probably long enough for one button. Oh, this is my nice quiet time when everyone else is in bed or upstairs. Okay. So I'm gonna sew on the rickrack with the button. I don't know which side is the top of this button. That side's flat, so I'm gonna guess it goes like that. The flat side goes against the bottom. Okay. Get in there. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, that rickrack is just really thick, so it's kind of hard to get through. Thimble. Isn't this handy? I love this one because it doesn't have a back. Where am I going? This is going to be close. Should use that. So if you're wondering where I got this thimble, I just got it off Amazon, I'm pretty sure. And it came in a pack of like 3 or 4 different ones. There's another one here somewhere. Yeah, I've got another one that's like just a little, it looks like a ring. Here it is. So yeah, just some different styles all come in this one package. So you can kind of try them out and see what works best for you, I guess. Barely. There, our first button on, and now it'll be easier because the rickrack is somewhat secure. More thread. Oh, I messed up my lineup here. My buttons. Okay. I thought there was 6. Maybe there's 5. 4. Yeah, I guess there's just 5. Okay. Needle, where are you? Is it under here? Yes. Everything is trying to hide from me. It's kind of big though. I mean, maybe I could put it on my middle finger. It's still kind of loose on there. I don't know. It feels weird to keep it on my hand. go. That one is all done. I like it. So that one and this one. All done. And I'll do the other 5 or 4, I can count. There we go. Yeah. So if you're wanting to make something a little different for decoration for your junk journal, maybe try this. Just pull out some fabric scraps and cut some strips and off you go. You could even layer, you know, a couple different fabrics on here if you don't have lace or rickrack. So, yeah, give it a shot. Okay, well, thanks for hanging out with me, guys, and I'll just see you in the next video. Bye!